Hello everyone, and welcome to the first ever episode of the Successfully Balanced podcast. I'm your host Aria, and I'm really excited because this is the first ever episode. And I just wanted to use this first ever episode to talk a bit about why I decided to start the podcast, because maybe this will resonate with one of you, and if not, it'll just give you a bit of context as to why I have decided to be here. Growing up, I've always been incredibly ambitious. I was that student at school who always wanted to get the best possible grades. I joined karate and I immediately knew I wanted to be one of the black belts, and everything that sort of happened in my life was always me trying to work towards some crazy goal that I had. And I really took pride in my discipline levels, and I always wanted to push further and become better than I was yesterday. But eventually this sort of became toxic for me, because I would work so hard on my goals. I would literally work about 15 hours a day to achieve the goals that I'd set for myself. And as you can imagine, I was completely exhausted and utterly burnt out. And I even found myself typing until I fell asleep. And at that moment, I realized I cannot continue to work like this. So from that moment on, I started trialing new productivity systems. I researched the neuroscience of learning and productivity and habits and routines and all of that. And I also finally started to take the time to rest and actually take care of myself. I then began building a business to teach these systems to students so that they could achieve really high grades, but in a way that was sustainable and didn't burn them out. But the irony was that I was building this business while working full-time, while studying full-time, and I had so much on my plate. And I really pushed those systems to the test. But the funny thing was that I was really scared to work any less, because I was scared that I was going to underachieve and not fulfill my potential. But when I did that, when I was building my business while working and studying and all of that, I pushed those systems to the test, and I actually ended up accomplishing more in that 1 year than ever in my entire life, even though I was working comparatively less and I was actually taking time to care for myself. Because in that 1 year, I launched my first podcast and reached over 30,000 streams on Spotify, hit almost 100,000 followers on Instagram, won investment funding for my business and launched my business. I also became an award-winning founder and 3 times my income, and all of that happened without burning out, and that is the thing I'm most proud of. And it really made me realize that the systems that I was teaching weren't just applicable to students. They could really help anyone who wanted to perform highly without burning out. I also knew that I didn't want to box myself in and only be known as the girl who talks about studying. And I could see so many other ambitious women around me who were so determined to achieve their goals and scale their business and do incredible things in their life, but they felt like they needed to sacrifice their health and their happiness and self-care to achieve it. And I am tired of the narrative that we should have to choose between being successful and being happy. So I made it my mission to help high performers, especially women, excel at what they do and become the best possible versions of themselves that they can, but in a way that is sustainable and doesn't cost them their health, their happiness, and living a fulfilling life. Because I am living proof that that is possible. And if my work on here and my work in whatever else I do, if it can just help one person to achieve their goals without burning out, then my work will be worth it. So that is why I'm talking to you here today on the Successfully Balanced podcast. So what can you expect from this podcast? I have a whole bunch of podcast topics planned, which I am hoping to cover topics like how to be more efficiently productive, how to save time throughout the week, how to reduce stress, how to have time for things you love doing, how to romanticize your work, how to sync your business with your cycle, how to balance your work and life, and so much more. And by the way, in any of these episodes, feel free to leave in the comments any requests or suggestions that you have for episodes. And I really just can't wait to see how this podcast can change someone's life. So whether you are an athlete, a founder, or a businesswoman, or even if you're just here to improve your productivity and enjoy your life more, I welcome you to the podcast, and I truly hope from the bottom of my heart that you get something out of it. So I'm excited to see you in our next episode.